Hey, what's up YouTube? I'm back again today with another Back to Basics episode. Still making these, still here. It feels weird to be filming though, because I did bulk record a few of them before I went away. You know, doing that classic staycation now for the UK. Love it. But I'm back filming, feels good. So let's jump straight into today's episode. What is Back to Basics? Back to Basics is a series where we break down different exercises, explain to you how to perform them, how to do easier versions of the exercise and how to do harder versions of the exercise. And at the end, I'm going to try and give you a nice like superset or a mechanical drop set or whatever, or a drop set. A good way to use it to, if you want to do something that's a little bit even harder than my harder versions of the exercise. It's a bit weird to say. I am back with this background. I think I've decided where I'm filming. I'm either going to be doing it here or against the white wall in the other bedroom. It's just dependent on where I'm feeling, basically, so deal with it. So, with that said, this series is for newer people that are new to the gym, might not know how to perform these exercises, or for people that just want to know. They just want to know something a little bit harder, want to know something a little bit easier, it's up to them, whatever. So, today's video is on the shoulder press, but not on the Olympic barbell push press where you're standing and you're doing, like, that's the hardest version of this exercise. That is a very good big compound movement, so I wanted to do that in a separate episode where I really break it down how to do it, because that one is very important to get your form correct. Not that it isn't important to get your form correct on all exercises, but that one, there's a lot that could go wrong if your form is off. So I wanted to do a separate video on that specifically, so that I can then get everything out for you guys. So this video is actually just going to be for different versions of the shoulder press, ones that might lead you up to being able to do the big main one, or if you're new and you're not comfortable doing, I know a lot of people aren't comfortable lifting a massive bar up above their head, so this is different versions you could do instead of that. So with that said, let's jump straight in. So let's go for the easier versions first, as we always do. My first easier version is obviously going to be the shoulder press machine. Now, if you're new, obviously the shoulder press machine is going to help you build up a bit of muscle. It will, as long as you set you set it up right to your body height and whatever. And usually there are people in the gym that can help you do that, so it's right for you. It will teach you somewhat of the form, will help you build some muscle and strength in that plane of movement, so that when you transfer over to using the free weights, the dumbbells, the barbells, whatever, you will then have, you'll be able to push a little bit more. You'll be able to, you'll know what you're doing before you move on there. It's a nice, good building block, a stepping stone, if you will. And also as well, if you just want to, because machines are good for taking out that stabilizing muscle, and just focusing on the muscles that are really trying to be worked. So if you do want to do that for that reason as well, then feel free, 100%. But it's very easy to do. You're literally just going to sit down and put your hands on there, and depending on where you set it up, it should be just below 90 degrees, and you're going to press directly upwards, or you might have handles like this ones and you press directly upwards. And then a slow descent on the way down, 2-3 seconds on the way down, and you'll be good. So moving on to the next one, so moving on to a free weight version now, which is going to be obviously the dumbbell. Actually, it's going to be the barbell shoulder press first. So not the Olympic barbell. I'm strictly talking about the very lightweight barbells. You might get the 10 or 15 kg barbells. Naturally, when you're going to be doing this, make sure you have someone behind you to catch the barbell, or you have a rack or something to put it back onto. But the good thing about doing it with the barbells, the light barbells, is that you're going to be able to it's a lighter weight, and you're going to be able to start learning how to control the weight in that plane of motion with the bar, so that when you transfer over to using a bigger bar, bigger plates, or whatever you want to do, moving over to just the bar first, which is probably the best way forward, you then understand how to manipulate that in that plane of motion. Makes sense, right? Hopefully. How would you perform this? I would say that the best way to start off is to perform it sitting down. I wouldn't do it standing up first, because sitting down, once you're sat down, I'm sat down in a chair right now, I'm not having to support my body weight by standing and then having to support a weight on top of that. So if you're sitting down, You want your feet planted nice on the floor so you do have a strong solid base to push from. You can have a slight arch in your back, but really make sure you don't really have too much of a bend there, because if your back is too arched, you'll be placing force on the spine where the spine curves in. So really try and keep a flat back. You're then going to want the bar. It will be sitting here just above your chest when you first start off. You're then going to push it directly upwards. So with a bar, what tends to happen is you push slightly out so you don't hit it on the bottom of your chin. You push it out, you bring it up, and then you push it back, and you're pushing your shoulders back. What do I mean by this? So when I mean pushing shoulders back, I'll try and turn around to show you, but there really isn't a lot of space in this thing. When I mean push shoulders back, oh, this is a lot harder because I'm going to squat down. So you're here, you come out slightly, you push up, and then you push your shoulder right back, so that it's you're almost like forcing it to be engaged. You're kind of pulling your shoulder blades back, and then in that top position, so it's above you, directly above you. Then when you bring it back down, you have to move it out slightly to not hit the top of your head, and then you bring it back in when you're at the bottom of the exercise. That's the easiest way to explain it. It's just literally because your head's in the way naturally when you're coming down or up, so it's out slightly, up, pull back at the top, lock out, and then bring it back down just around the head, and bring it back down to the top of your chest. So, what are we going to do next? What's the next easiest version to move up from that? Now, that's dependent. You could move on to doing dumbbell version of the press should you want to. This is going to teach you better stability while sitting down as well, because you're not only having to stabilize a weight, you're having to stabilize two separate weights in two separate hands, and that is a good thing as well, because then obviously your stabilizing muscles are going to kick in on both sides better. You know, it will basically just help your stabilizing more. But same idea, whereas with the barbell, it's obviously going to hit here, it's not going to hit here with the dumbbells. So, you can actually start further back and not in front of you. Start here, just below 90 degrees, push up, and bring them together at the top. That's basically it, and then a slow and controlled descent back down. Some people like to press like this, where they're slightly more in and up and back down. That's completely up to you and what feels more comfortable with your shoulders. Because obviously some people getting them back here might hurt a bit more, so they might prefer to press in here. That's depending on what you want to do. But either way, that's going to help you build a better stabilizing base as well as the strength to then transfer over to doing the big barbell press. So, now with that said, let's move on to the harder versions of the exercises. This is the one I love the most. I love doing this. I'm sorry, I keep fiddling with a pen. I can't help not fiddle with a pen. It's really weird. If any of you ever struggle with it, like, I don't know why. This is the pen. This thing here. I don't know why. Whenever there's a pen on my desk, I always have to fiddle with it. I'm just gonna... Okay. Cool. It's no longer a problem. So, let's move on to the harder versions. So, the first one is obviously, you know, it's up to you what you're pressing with. We've talked about dumbbells and dumbbells and barbells so far. You can press with a kettlebell as well, but the thing with the kettlebell is be careful of what you're doing. Look to someone who is a kettlebell expert or knows what they're talking about, because the difference between kettlebells and barbells and dumbbells is that barbells and dumbbells, the weight is centered, so the weight is on each side of the bar, so that whenever you're holding it, the weight is pushing down. It's different with a kettlebell, right? The handle is on the top and the weight is underneath it. So it's a bit more of a specialized piece of equipment. But if you want to do shoulder press with it, look, as I said, look to someone who knows what they're doing. So I'm not going to put like a video of me up and do it, because I don't know what I'm really doing when it comes to kettlebells. So just be careful with that. So the next one we're going to talk about is the standing dumbbell press. This is my next one up. Because now you're going to be controlling your body while standing up, so it's a bit harder to do so, obviously, because you're going to need to stabilize your body and stabilize the weights as well. So you have, starting off with your feet, you can either stand shoulder width apart, or some people like to do a staggered stance, so like a stance where one foot is forward and one foot is back, because that gives you a little bit more control. So it's up to you which one you want to do. Then with the dumbbells, you're going to start off here, just below 90 degrees, push directly upwards, and then bring it slowly back down. Again, making sure your back is not like curving either in or out, so that you're not putting pressure on the spine. Make sure your spine is staying neutral, and making sure that your shoulders don't come either too far forward. So you want them basically just over your shoulders and bring them up and down. Cool. So that's the ones for making it harder. Now, obviously, like we always do, we talk about pause reps and half reps because they are kind of my opinion, they're kind of the easier stuff you can start to implement to make things harder. So should you want to, obviously, pretty much on any of these, even on the machine shoulder press, you can, for pause rep, for example, you could do the press, bring it back down, hold it at the 90-degree angle, 2, 3, 4 seconds, and then bring it up and hold. That's going to make it harder because building muscle is basically just about the time under tension. So the time under tension is longer in a pause rep, which it is. You're then going to put the muscle through more stress, it's going to break down more, and that's going to lead for better protein synthesis and better building of the muscle. So yeah, basically pause reps. Again, you could also do this with the dumbbells. Here, hold, press, hold, same idea. Half reps also going to make the exercise harder because again, here you could come up, come down halfway, press up, and then bring it back down. Again, would make the exercise harder. Cool, so that's the shoulder presses, except the main shoulder press we'll do a separate video on, which we've said multiple times now. I am going to give you a cool little, so this is a superset. As I said at the end of each episode now, I'm going to try and give you like a superset or a drop set or something that would make your exercise really challenging if you want to do it. So for this, you're going to need to do the shoulder press first. So that's going to be your hardest exercise. So if you're standing, you're going to be doing with either the barbell or the dumbbells. You're going to hold, obviously, and push straight up and do it until your shoulders really hurt. You get that lactic acid build up and you can't push anymore. Obviously, if you're new, you don't necessarily need to go to failure. So you could go until you feel like you're quite tired, and then move down to the next one. Then the next one is going to be your side raises. So you're going to have 2 dumbbells. Side raises are quite easy again, stand shoulder width apart. You're going to bring it up, slight bend in each elbow, come to 90 degrees, and then bring it back down. And then the last one is going to be the machine press right at the end. So now you're sitting down, you don't have to worry about stabilizing, you can just rep out on the machine press until your shoulders are completely dead. And that is an amazing way to finish off. If you were doing a push day and your shoulders were last, your shoulders are going to be dead. It's a great way of finishing them off. And that's me done for today. As I said, feels good to be back filming. And as always, leave your comments, in the description below, in the comment section below. Let me know if you think I've missed anything out. If you have any good versions of the shoulder press that you prefer to do, or you think new people should be doing to make their workouts harder. And as always, have an amazing day. I don't have a drink with me or anything, so I'm literally just going to say goodbye and hope to see you in the next video.